on his program, Philip J. Berg. I believe he's an ex-Attorney General of Pennsylvania. That's correct, ex-Attorney General of Pennsylvania, and he's actually got a lawsuit against Barack Obama trying to get him to prove that he is in fact an American citizen. The first thing that Barack Obama did when he got into office was sign legislative orders sealing all of his official documents so that people could not investigate who this guy was. Don't you think it's kind of interesting when you look at the geopolitical scope of what's been going on in terms of American politics over the last couple decades, and we get this shadow phantom character, Barack Obama, who comes out of nowhere. Barack H. Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. Barack kind of rhymes with Iraq. Hussein, we all know who that guy was. And Obama, again, sounds similar to Osama. So it's kind of funny that this guy whose name is Barry Sayatoro all of a sudden pops up on the scene, and his name is so phonetically on par with the friggin' psyops that we've been subject to in terms of the American wars. It's almost like I don't even know what it is, but it's just something that, you know, don't take my word for it, go and investigate it yourself. Barry Sayatoro. I mean, Michelle Obama has slipped in interviews and said, oh, you know, when we were visiting Kenya and Barack's hometown, and well, fuck, I didn't just say that. You know, there's just been so much slip up. I mean, it's just incredible. But what happened after Richard Syrett had Philip J. Berg on his program, the next afternoon when Barack H. Obama was inaugurated, Richard received a call from CFRB/Astral Media and was told to no longer come to work. So if you're telling me that conspiracy doesn't exist, I mean, conspiracy is very real. It's when people associate the suffix theory with it, when the problem arises in people's minds. People aren't being charged in the courtroom with conspiracy theory to fix prices. People aren't being charged with conspiracy theory to undermine consumers. Conspiracy is very real. Stop letting people put the theory suffix onto that and confusing us in terms of like what's going on. So Richard, who's got his program now on AM 740, Sunday nights, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's actually a lot better. The station has a much bigger broadcast signal. He's heard in upwards of like 24 states. I've heard people calling in from the Carolinas, the Virginias, New York, all across Canada. It's a fantastic program. All right. So Richard Syrett, everybody, The Conspiracy Show. He's my keynote speaker. He's an absolute wonderful gentleman. Please give a warm welcome. He'll be talking for, you know, until our hour ends. Thanks again for coming out and tolerating my post-420 talking. It's been a bit pasty, but if you come and check me out at my shop, Conspiracy Culture, my mouth will be a little bit more moist, and you'll get a little bit more attention. So again, Richard Syrett from The Conspiracy Show, AM 740, Zoomer Radio, Sunday nights, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Give it up.
Thanks, Patrick. Now, unlike these other talented individuals that got up here and just spoke off the cuff, I actually had to prepare notes. Not being one who imbibes in the marijuana, I thought if I started inhaling some of these fumes, I'd get a little disoriented, so I came prepared with notes. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the encroachment of totalitarianism in the West, and freedom is really taking a beating around the Western world. And the clear trend is the conversion of democracies to bureaucratic dictatorships. We tend to think of totalitarianism, we think of Stalin, and we think of Mao. Thanks, brother. We think of totalitarianism, we think of Stalin and Mao and Hitler, but it exists today, although now it wears an Armani suit and it's very sophisticated. But what's particularly troubling is that people are snoozing while one of the most precious gifts we have, bought at the cost of countless lives, is being frittered away, taken away without nary a fight. And my father fought the Nazis in the Second World War. It was with Fort Garry Horse, an armored division. And I took great pride in that. And of course, you know, we wear the poppy on November the 11th, lest we forget. But we're forgetting. And on the one hand, we're saying, you know, they died for us, and on the other hand, we're just allowing all of their blood and their sweat to go to waste. And in the future, it's going to be far more difficult to recover our freedom than it is to lose it. It's inexorable, it's gradual, it's the frog in the boiling pot of water, it's almost imperceptible, but it's happening. Mind you, there are no concentration camps or gulags, but there are thought police, and they have unprecedented powers to dictate the way that you think, to sniff out heresy, and there can be harsh punishment for any sort of dissent.